I'm glad I made the effort yesterday evening to get down to Ardrishig and the fine blue sky, white fluffy clouds, pleasant warmth of the day yesterday. It's been all changed. It's been quite heavy rain overnight. It's now about midday. I've just been sitting in the camper van waiting for the clouds to clear at least some of the hills, for the drizzle to dry up, and it's looking like it's brightening up now. I made it up to Cairnbaan yesterday. Today I'm hoping to go all the way to Crinan. The downside of the day after we've had a wet night and a still damp morning in this part of Scotland is that it tends to be muggy, and it's pretty much perfect conditions for these wee blighters we call a midge. The Scottish midge, there's nothing quite like it, and so I'm kind of overdressed for a muggy day, but I'm trying to cover up as much as I can so the little blighters can't get any more out of me than they did last night. It's a lovely towpath here. I mean, to say a towpath, it's not really. Maybe in one time they did tow things, but this is a canal. It's not built for narrowboats. This is a canal built for sea-going vessels, so that sea-going vessels could get through the Firth of Clyde and the various lochs, sea lochs, up and down around the Firth of Clyde. You could get from the top of Loch Gilt, which is off Loch Fyne, which in turn leads off the Firth of Clyde. So it gives access to the Western Isles and the west coast of Scotland. It's not that long since roads became the main method of delivering supplies and taking out goods, and back in the day, not so long ago, goods were imported and exported from west coast towns and villages and island towns and villages on puffers and steamers, and this canal must have made quite a difference to the journey times and the safety for those sea-going vessels. Anyway, about halfway to Cairnbaan right now. Another bridge, more locks, rising up to the summit pound of the canal. We rise from sea level to a mighty 24 metres above sea level. So it's a dead easy cycle. Lovely path, well surfaced, and barely an incline on it really. So we'll catch up with it a wee bit later on.
That's Cairnbaan Hotel on the right there. It was originally built as a coaching inn during the construction of the canal, and it was opened in 1815. Just immediately beyond Loch 5, the bridge carries the main road towards Crinan over to the south side of the canal. From here, the canal side path becomes a single track access road to various houses and properties that lie alongside the canal. Now, anyone familiar with the Highland way of life will know that passing places on single track roads, they're really meet and greet spots where information critical to the smooth running of the community is passed from one local to another, which is what I guess is happening here at Loch 7. Approaching Loch 8, I can see the masts of 3 yachts, so I think it's time for a wee bit more gongoozling. I'm just going to stop and park my bike here, well out of the way behind this fence. The lockkeeper's busy operating the paddles to fill the lock, which should raise these 2 yachts in it. Oh, one of them is Wildcat, the yacht that I watched enter Loch 4 down at Ardrishaig yesterday evening. Now, as I was standing there trying my best to hold the camera steady, I could hear this throaty roar of sports car engines behind me. Sure enough, over by the bus shelter, not 1, but 2, 3, then a 4th, and a 5th, and finally a 6th Austin Healey pulled in. Their occupants all piled out and joined me gongoozling the activity in the loch. Well, I took the chance to go over and take a look at these lovely, well-preserved motors. Turns out they're from the Netherlands Austin Healey Owners Club, and they're on a tour of the Scottish Highlands and Orkney. Well, the lockkeeper was being inundated with offers of help, so I left him to it and went over to the loch landing alongside the yacht that was waiting to enter the yacht, chatting away there with the crew while we waited. We didn't actually have long to wait. Bellatrix emerged first, with Wildcat just a wee while later, and then it was time for Whispering Wind to enter the loch. This is the Summit Pound now, isn't it? Yeah. It's all downhill for me too. Well, enough of this gongoozling lark. I'm off in the opposite direction, leaving Cairnbaan behind as I ride along the summit of the canal towards Dunardry. You know that thing, the wee jingle that I start and end my videos with now? You're only one bike ride away from a good mood. This is one really good mood. I love this. Here's the boats that were just in the loch that I just passed at Cairnbaan. We're at the other end of the Summit Pound now, and this is the loch. This is the next loch. So here I am at Loch 9, the top lock of the very picturesque Dunardry lock flight. Across the canal, Knapdale Forest stretches southwards, its northern boundary providing shelter to the canal. As a boat passes through each lock, it uses up to 300,000 litres of water. The lock keepers are in constant communication with one another to coordinate the movement of the boats in the canal. It's really to make the most efficient use of the water. So they pair up boats through locks where it's possible, and sometimes they hold boats travelling in one direction to allow locks to be set more favourably, while those travelling in the opposite direction are moved through. Of the 7 road crossings on the canal, 6 are swing bridges, but here at Loch 11 this bridge is different. This one's a rolling bridge. The roadway is mounted on rails which are rolled out across the top of the loch. It's an interesting bridge design, but unfortunately for the time being it's not in working order and looks like it's awaiting restoration. I'm really taken with the lock keepers' cottages. They're all very pretty and well kept and add to the charm of the canal. After Loch 13, the canal skirts around the southern periphery of Mon Mor National Nature Reserve. It's a vast area of raised bog and it's an important ecological habitat. I'll have more about it in the next video. Thanks for riding with me. Lost in Livy.